Six Podcast with your hosts, Larry Kaczynski and Danny Waiter. Get ready for some action.
Go.
Hello and welcome to the Pick Six Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Larry Kaczynski.
And Danny Waiter. And unfortunately today, Larry cannot be with us physically, but in spirit he is with us. Just kidding, Larry's on the phone. Say something else, Larry.
This is going to be a very weird one. Unfortunately, I got some serious shit going on in my life right now, and things are bleak right now. But anyway, that's for another. Not even for this podcast. It's for nobody's business but mine. But anyway, we're gonna keep this one really, really short because Danny had some overtime this week, and and we're not gonna go through week 6 because it's already Wednesday, Thursday games tomorrow night. Everybody knows what's going on. We'll get into a little bit of things here. We're just going to jump right into our picks, and then after our picks for week 7, we'll talk about a little bit about the Lions and whatever we want to go from there. We're going to try and keep this about half hour, 45 minutes at most. But I'm going to kick it over to Danny, because unfortunately I can't be on speakerphone and while we're doing this, so I can't bring up my NFL mobile app to talk about week 7 games. So I'm going to have him run through the games. But we're basically going to be going in the opposite direction here. So what we're going to do is Danny's going to take over and go through the games for week 7. He's going to, of course, read the little factoids that are on each one, and he's going to make his pick first, and then I'm going to do my picks. So everything is going to be pretty much reversed on this one, seeing as how I'm pretty much limited. So you can start off with our week 7 picks, sir.
All right. So for the first game, for tomorrow night's game, it's the Chiefs at 4-2 against the Broncos 2-4. Little fun factoid is that the Chiefs have 7 consecutive wins against the Broncos. Larry?
Okay. I have to bring up a question first before I make my pick. Do you think the Chiefs are in trouble right now? I mean, they've dropped their last 2. They're starting to fall off the map a little bit. Mahomes' ankle's starting to bother him again. I mean, do you think it's time to worry in Kansas City?
See, I said it before, and I will say it again. I don't believe the hype with Patrick Mahomes. I think he is a product of Andy Reid and the amount of star talent around him. Now, is he a good quarterback? Yes. Great? Maybe. It's literally only his second season actually playing. Since his rookie season, he only played 1 game. But I really would start worrying about Kansas City, because as soon as the Lions started figuring out how to stop them, now they couldn't pull off the win, but then the Colts beat them, and then let me see, who else beat them? The Texans. And the man coverage that kills them, zone coverage, boom, the receivers and tight ends and running backs run right past them, but man coverage, they can't stop that. So yeah, I would say it would be time to start worrying about the Chiefs, because they also face a very good Broncos defense, and the Broncos have won. Let me see. They've won 2 games in a row so far, Larry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, quick side note. As far as last week goes, me and Danny tied again at 7-7 for the year, and now we are both at 2-2-2. And yeah, I told Danny that if we go 2-2-2 again, if we go 2-2-2 and tie, I'm just gonna kill myself. So it was pretty funny. But no, anyway, I am agreeing with you to a point. The Chiefs are not the Chiefs. I don't know what's going on here. I don't think it's time to panic just yet, but they got to figure out what's going on in Kansas City. But I'm still sticking with the Chiefs. Like I said, Flacco just can't do it with the Broncos. No, I'm going with the Chiefs on this one.
All right. Well, here's where it starts. We're gonna have our first, game right off the bat. That's gonna be different. I'm gonna pick the Broncos because I'm looking at the scores right now, and the Broncos beat the Chargers 20-13. Okay. The Chargers. I don't know who the Chargers are right now. They don't know who they are, and it's interesting. And then the Broncos went ahead and shut out the Titans, which I had the Titans being a pretty decent team this year, and yet the Broncos just shut them out. So I'm going to go ahead with the Broncos because, two teams this year have completely shut down the Chiefs. So, and I think the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league still. So I give the edge to the Broncos.
Interesting.
All right, so now we have the 49ers and Redskins. 49ers at 5-0, Redskins at 1-5, and the 49ers are 4-1 versus Redskins since 2008. So the win-loss total isn't a lot, but just in that little small snippet that tells you how dominant the 49ers have been with the Redskins. Now, do they have a lot of those different, wins or anything? No, but they do have their, that 4-1. So, they've won 3 games against them, and I think they might have done 3 straight games as well. So, that's. I didn't actually know that they've been 4-1 against the Redskins since 2008. I didn't know that there was actually a history between them, but it's kind of interesting. And I know at the beginning of the podcast series, I picked the 49ers to having a really, really good season. 5-0. I didn't think that, but they've been dominating every team. Every team they face. Well, there was only one team that they didn't dominate. Let me tell you what game that was. That was the Steelers. Other than that, the Buccaneers 31-17. The Bengals 41-17. The Steelers 24-20. The Browns 31-3. Even the Rams, who were in the Super Bowl last year, 20-7. All right, I'm going to give it up to you and to let you pick your team.
Well, this one's a hands down 49ers all the way. You know what? I'm gonna include my segment that I wanted to do last week. So, real quick, let's backtrack to the Chiefs Broncos. Do you, as it stands right now, do you think the Chiefs are pretenders or contenders?
I say pretenders. Like I said, I think I think as a team, they have a lot of good players, but I don't think they're as good as everyone making them out to be. Just like the Browns.
Right. Okay. No, well, I'm sticking by contenders for the Chiefs. Like I said, those are my guys. So, I mean, until I see differently, I mean, yeah, they're on the downward slope right now, but it's not major. So I'm still going to put them at contenders. As for the 49ers, Redskins, I'm going with the 49ers all the way. These guys are definitely contenders, and honestly, I could actually see them going 14-2, maybe 16-0 at this rate. These guys are just completely unstoppable. I have to give massive props to Nick Bosa. This guy is an absolute stud. I mean, this team is a complete team, and I myself too am completely blown away by this 49ers team, offensively and defensively. These guys are amazing. They are definitely a contender for me, so I'm taking the Niners in this one. What about you, Danny?
Okay, Larry. I'm going to take the 49ers, Larry. Because, like I said in the beginning, 49ers, that front seven is just the best in the game. After seeing all their games, DeForest Buckner, I think they have D Ford. They have, like you said, Nick Bosa. They have Fred Warner as their middle linebacker. They have Richard Sherman as their cornerback. They don't have just star power. They have depth everywhere, and oh my gosh, I can see them easily going 16-0. I see them going 14-2 or 13-3, only because they want to make sure their starters get rest. So I see them taking pity games and allowing their starters to take rest in the season.
Absolutely. I'm in total agreement with you there, sir.
All right. Well, let's move on to a pretty... this might actually be my game to watch.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so you have the Cardinals 2-3-1. Man, for them it looks fine. For the Lions, it doesn't look so hot. Anyway, and against the Giants 2-4. Little fun fact is the battle of rookie QBs, Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Take it away, Larry.
I picked the Giants on this one, mainly because I still think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray is. As my opinion on Kyler Murray is not going to change. I mean, at least not for this season anyway. He's just not quarterback material. If he's coached right down the line, maybe that'll change. But for right now, I can't see that happening. So I'm going to stick with Daniel Jones and the Giants on this one. But it's not going to be a 41-3 blowout. I'm going to say somewhere around the lines, maybe like 17-13. I don't see this being a very high-scoring game. And I'm actually kind of surprised on the Arizona defensive side of the ball. Their defense has not greatly improved, but they're starting to find their groove. So maybe this could be a little turnaround for the Cardinals. I don't know, but I'm sticking with the Giants right now. I like Daniel Jones better. Plus, they're at home. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to go with that one, Danny.
All right. Well, I agree with you. I am taking the Giants as well because I think Daniel Jones is definitely more of an established rookie quarterback, whereas Kyler Murray, he's just I understand you can overcome anything, but he's what, 5'9", 5'10"? Now, he makes plays with his legs. That's great. He can make and throw the ball deep. That's great. But he has the most batted down passes of any quarterback in the league. And that is because he just can't get the ball high enough at the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
Okay, he's just so... I don't want to say just because he's short, but it's like that's the truth, He throws the ball just a tad bit under what an average NFL quarterback would throw it. Now, can he bomb it like 70 yards? You know what? He probably could. Maybe further? Probably. I mean, he didn't win the Heisman Trophy for nothing, but his height seems to be a very big concern to me, and I may really like the Cardinals' defense, but I don't see them overtaking the Giants.
No, absolutely not.
All right.
And that's another thing too. Okay, and you're right about that, Danny. But and we even mentioned this after week one when we watched the Lions game against the Cardinals. That Kyler Murray he's too small. We ended up with 7 or 8 batted balls in that game from Kyler Murray. Like I said, I don't. I mean, if he, I just don't know about him. You know, I really don't think he's cut out to be a quarterback in the NFL. I can see him as a wide receiver, maybe. He's got the speed. He's very elusive. He could probably pull it off. But as far as an NFL quarterback, I can't see him having a career as a quarterback. I just can't do it. He's too small.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now we are going on to the Texans versus the Colts. The Texans are 4-2. The Colts are 3-2. And this is battle for first place in the AFC South.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and mind you, both of these teams, first the Colts, then the Texans, both took out the Chiefs. Colts took out the Chiefs in Week 5. Texans took out the Chiefs in Week 6. So now we have a Week 7 matchup between two teams that took down the number one team for the Super Bowl in everyone's eyes. So, what's your pick and what's your opinion on both teams?
You see, I had a different game to watch, but you know what? That's going to be my game to watch instead of the other one I picked, which was the Ravens and Seahawks, because that's actually a lot on the line on that one. But yeah, I totally forgot about that. You see, this is another issue here that this is where it's all going to start coming into play during Week 7, because of the fact that the Texans and the Colts have the probability of going to the playoffs. But I'll do my pick first, and then I'll explain what I was talking about earlier with the other picks. But I'm going to go with the Houston Texans on this one. The Texans are on a roll. Deshaun Watson, unbelievable. There's really not much there's really nothing bad you can say about the Texans right now for the past 3 weeks. They've been kicking it. They've been kicking it hardcore. The Colts been kind of on a downward slope, man. I don't know about Gardner Minshew. Wrong team, Larry. Let's try that again. I don't know why I said Gardner Minshew. Why?
I don't know, Uncle Rico.
We'll get to that. I don't know. I'm going with the Texans, but this is two teams here that could possibly both make the playoffs. So again, this is going to be the question: Texans, contender, pretender.
I'm going to have to go with the Texans as well, because I think they are definitely a more established. 1 second. Hey.
Gotta get the dogs out of there, brother.
Zeus, go. Zeus, come. I'm closing this door now. They're okay, Olive. I think the Texans are just a much more established team. We were wrong about the Colts. We were wrong about Jacoby Brissett. But I still don't think that overcomes, the fact that all they have is Marlon Mack and Quentin Nelson on the offensive line. And they have a very, very good defense, but so do the Texans. But I think there's so many more weapons on offense for the Texans that I definitely give the Texans first place in AFC South, and I give them the win this week.
Okay, so you're taking the Texans as a contender.
Yep.
As for myself, I'm on the fence about it. They are coming up in the power rankings. Like I said, I can't bring all this up because I got to talk on the phone. The NFL power rankings this week it completely did a 180. A lot of teams in the top 10, I never thought in a million years I'd see in the top 10. It's been a massive shakeup, and As of right now, I would have to say I'm not sold on the Texans yet. So I'm going to say the Texans are pretenders right now. Until they can get a good, they might be like a 4 or 5 game win streak. Then maybe we'll talk. But right now, I'm still saying the Texans they're not quite there yet. But I mean, it's really hard to decipher. Like I said, this has been one of the most weirdest seasons.
Yep.
That we've ever had, and if the Colts can get their groove back, they might even be a contender in the playoffs. So right now, I'm saying both those are pretenders right now. So, well, that's pretty much all I got to say about that one. What's next, Danny?
All right, so the next game that we're looking at is going to be the Raiders and the Packers, and apparently the Packers have won 7 consecutive wins over the Raiders. Now, to me, that is also another shocking little fact because, all these different teams, like the AFC, normally NFC teams don't play them too much. Every year we get like one team from the AFC or one division that we face in the AFC. But yet, 7 consecutive wins versus the Raiders. It doesn't give us a date. It doesn't give us, years or whatever. It just gives us 7 consecutive wins. That shows the dominance of the Packers. But at the same time, I don't think the record for the Packers, which they have, I would say, the 3rd best record in the NFL. I even made a Facebook status about it. I think the Packers, I think the Packers are a good team. They're not elite, and their record doesn't show them how good of a team they are. They're 5-1 because they have played some atrocious defenses. I mean, everyone can say whatever they want about the Cowboys, but the Cowboys really are not a good team, and the Packers beat a mediocre team, which is the Cowboys. And I won't get into it, but if it wasn't for one call at the end of the game, the Packers could potentially be 4-2 right now. But they are 5-1, so they have won games. So, kudos to them. But I think if they face let's just say even a really good team, I don't see them winning that game. So for my pick, I am picking the Raiders because the Raiders have all of a sudden turned it around and have been absolutely killing it for no reason whatsoever, just like the Colts. Larry?
Believe it or not, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I was going to pick this game as my upset game, but I found a better one later on in the list. I'm not going to get into it either because I am still furious over this because for some reason, I'm just going to make this brief. I was going to save it for I'll save it for the end when we talk about the Vikings-Lions game. We'll get to it. But I'm taking the Raiders over the Packers because of the bullshit that went down last week against them. So no, this is a revenge game for me. I want the Raiders to totally beat the holy hell out of the Packers. So I'm going Raiders also. Next up.
So does everyone else in the world. Because nobody except the Packers agree that the Packers won. Anyway, the next game is the Jaguars versus the Bengals. This will be an interesting game just because the Bengals are 0-6. This will really show who Gardner Minshew is because the Jaguars are 1-4 in last 5 games versus the Bengals. Yeah, which means Andy Dalton has beat the Bengals 4 times, or the Jaguars 4 times, and only lost once. Which means Gardner Minshew has a lot at stake for this game because this team is 2-4. They're kind of in the basement, in their division. And if he's really surprised us this year, but if he can't beat an Andy Dalton-led Bengals team,
right.
Let's be honest. Andy Dalton stopped being good when he got drafted. Okay, so let's not kid ourselves and say Andy Dalton was ever a good quarterback because he was never a good quarterback. Okay, he's a ginger for a reason. So
absolutely,
I give the Jaguars the win, just because the Bengals, they're not even in rebuild mode. They're about to sell their franchise. That's how bad it's gonna be.
Yeah. And as for myself, like I said, this is a throwaway game. This game really doesn't mean anything to me. I'm taking the Jaguars as well. And it sucks because I messaged Danny earlier this week. So I looked ahead because we are now down to 2 unbeaten teams left in the NFL. That's the Bengals and the Dolphins. But unfortunately, I guess he mentioned it on a podcast. I don't remember. But unfortunately, both them teams play each other in December. So unfortunately, we are not going to get 2 0-16 teams. So, if I had to give an 0-16 vote, this is going to be the Miami Dolphins because, like I said, they got rid of everybody. They don't have anybody. So, but I'm still picking the Jaguars just because.
All right, good, because the Bengals are atrocious. Anyway, we have the Dolphins versus the Bills next. Dolphins 0-5, Bills 4-1. The fun fact is the Bills have won 6 of last 7 home games versus Dolphins. It really should have already said won 7 of last 8 home games versus Dolphins because the Dolphins are so bad this year. It's not even the fact that so in every aspect of the game, they are atrocious. All right, let me tell you the scores of the games so far. Okay, it's only been.
Yes, please do.
It's only been 5 games in the season so far, and yet we're looking at. Let me just look at this. There's only one close game, but we'll get to that one when it pops up. Anyway, let's go to the first game, shall we? 59 against the Ravens to 10. Okay, let's go to the next game. The Patriots versus the Dolphins. 43 to nothing. Okay. Let's go to the next game. 31 against the Cowboys to 6. Yeah. Let's do the Chargers game. Oh yeah. They lost 30 to 10. Oh yeah. And then the Redskins were unbeaten, or the Redskins had no wins. Oh, wait a minute, they're facing the Dolphins. 17 to 16. So, yeah, the Dolphins couldn't even beat another beaten team. So, let's just add the total of points they've allowed in the first 5 games, okay? So, 59 plus 43 is 102. Okay, in 2 games. 102 plus 31. That's 133 the first 3 games. Let's add 30. That's 163 points given up in the first 4 games. And we might as well just add another 17 points. Oh yeah, that's going to be 163 plus 17. That's 180 points they've given up in the first 5 games.
And the sad thing is, it's not even the halfway point yet. That is so horrible.
It is so bad. They're not even tanking. They're not even at even the Bengals. They're in complete sell mode. the Dolphins are in complete like let's erase ourselves from existence mode. Like, I they
Oh,
they have so many first round draft picks, and yet they are they're not even tanking. I don't understand what's going on. It's like they're not. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I know it.
Uh, yeah, I give the game to the Bills. It's literally a no brainer.
Yep, absolutely. Same here. And just because we mention it on every podcast, I have to say it. Kiko Alonso. Because it's just fun to say.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Bills over the Dolphins by a lot. Next.
All right. Aside from that tragedy, we have the Rams versus the Falcons. Now, this will be an interesting game because the Falcons have won 4 consecutive games over the Rams. The Rams are 3-3. The Falcons are 1-5. The thing for the Falcons is that their offense has been playing elite. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, Devontae Freeman is starting to be his old self. Matt Ryan is still tops in the league for passing. Julio Jones, top in receiving. Austin Hooper, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, they're all contributing to the game, but their defense. Oh
Exactly.
my Lord, the Falcons' defense is just. Oh my. I want to just throw up. Because the thing that gets me is that they're not a different team. They don't
No,
really
that's
have
what-
different players.
Right.
And the Falcons want to act like they don't know what they're doing on defense. You know, okay, some of these scores. 28-12 Vikings, 24-20 Eagles, 27-24 Falcons, 24-10 the Titans, the 53-32. 33-34. They lost to the Cardinals. Like, come on, their defense really needs to pick it up because it's just so bad. So, and little fun fact, the Rams now have Jalen Ramsey because
Yes,
they traded Marcus Peters to the Ravens, which that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, since they have Jalen Ramsey, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Rams, not because of the record, but because of the team. Larry.
Yep, I'm in the same boat here. And this is going to bring up another point here. When now with Jalen Ramsey, a part of the Rams team, the Rams have been down on another downslope like the Chiefs have the past 3 weeks now. But now, with the addition of Jalen Ramsey, do you think with that, do you think the Rams are contenders or pretenders?
Don't mind me. I would have to say they're borderline contenders. Okay, now for some reason I haven't read up. I don't know if Todd Gurley is hurt because I know he didn't play in last game. And then Jared Goff just sucked last game. He had 27 attempts, 13 completions for like 87 yards.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was mainly a ground game. It was a defensive game too, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I mean they did play, the 49ers, so that's always rough. Never mind, 78 yards passing. That's rough. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if Todd Gurley's gonna play, but with how the Falcons' defense has been, I think the Rams are gonna quite literally walk right over them. So I do pick the Rams because the Falcons' defense is just. I don't want to talk about it. Go ahead, Larry.
They're just dismal. But I I want to say borderline contenders, but as of right now, until I see how Jalen Ramsey fits in with the defensive scheme of the Rams, I'm going to say the Rams are pretenders right now until I see different. But that's all I got to say about that. Next up, sir.
All right, 1 second. Oh, that's why it didn't show up. Okay. Sorry, I was looking for the Lions game, and since I picked it as my favorite team, it's not in the traditional list for Week 7. Anyway, we have two teams that have completely shocked me at the beginning, and then now have shocked me, about halfway through the season. The Chargers and the Titans. They're both at 2-4. They both have beat really good teams. I don't even know what to say.
I know it.
They crushed opponents, and then they've been getting crushed. This is why this year is so unpredictable. That's why we've been tying so much every.
I know, right?
Every week. I mean, like right here, Chargers won 11 of the last 12 games versus Titans, including playoffs. But that doesn't mean anything because they're both 2-4, and they both should have such higher records, and they don't. And
right. This should be a battle of the 4-1s right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense, and
not at all.
I don't care who we pick. I mean, honestly, I really don't know who to pick because every player comes into the game and then they don't come into the game, and it's like, are we gonna get this player or are we gonna get this player that's playing like this instead, or is he gonna play like this?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Chargers. That I don't have an explanation. I don't have a reasoning. I literally just drew a number out of my imaginary hat and I picked the Chargers.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at, but I'm going with the opposite direction. I'm going with the Titans. Like I said, like you said it, right? I mean, you said it. I mean, both teams are just. I'm mind blown on why they're playing piss poor football, where last year they were just stomping everybody. I don't know what's going on with this topsy-turvy things that are going on right now. I wanted to make the Chargers contenders like last year, but I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs if they keep doing this. So, yeah, I'm taking the Titans on this one. I think the Titans are a better team.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, man, we're starting to run a little over. I mean, I got to edit some stuff out, but regardless. Yeah. So, the next... this is going to be a good game. The Ravens versus the Seahawks. The Ravens 4-2, the Seahawks 5-1. This is Earl Thomas's first time returning to Seattle after being traded. Yeah, this it's gonna be a good one. It's hard to pick against Russell Wilson. And the Ravens have been what I thought they have been this year, and I really don't know who to pick. But I think I'm gonna stick with the Ravens. That's gonna be my pick because I think they have more playmakers, whereas Russell Wilson, he can make plays on his own, but I think they have too much to overcome with the Ravens.
And I am in agreement. I am also going with the Ravens over the Seahawks because I mean this was my second game to watch because this is going to be a very intense game. Russell Wilson, like I said, amazing, and DK Metcalf. We just can't say enough about this guy. This guy is just a stud and a half of a receiver. I love this guy. I was hoping we were going to get him in the first round, but unfortunately it didn't happen. I was rooting for it because we would have had the fastest guy in the combine as far as receivers go. He's just an amazing player. But I don't know why I went with the Ravens. I think they're more... they're more of a complete team to me. I mean, even though the record says different, 4-2, 5-1, that's only one game. So, I mean, both these teams play excellent. And it was really tough for me to make this call. I wanted to go with the Seahawks earlier in the week, but I decided the Ravens will probably be the best bet just because on experience. So I'm taking the Ravens over the Seahawks.
All right. I totally agree. DK Metcalf is definitely a freak of nature. And what would you like to add?
He is. I was just going to say that both of these teams, in my book, are contenders. No pretenders here. I think both of these teams have a legitimate shot at the playoffs.
Yep, I totally agree because, like I said, Russell Wilson definitely has a lot of star power to himself. You know, he can definitely make any play happen. He can make any impossible play happen. Let's see. Now we have the Saints versus the Bears. Okay, the Saints team who lost Drew Brees now have Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. And little fun fact, Teddy Bridgewater has won 7 of last 8 road starts. So that's not even with the Saints. Okay, that's with the Vikings too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to go with the Saints just because the Bears' defense is amazing, but oh man, their offense. They didn't figure out their offense. They got rid of Jordan Howard, and then yes, Tariq Cohen is an amazing elusive running back, but you don't have any playmakers, you know, and you know, I don't think Matt Nagy trusts Mitchell Trubisky. I don't think he really wants him as his quarterback. I see them either getting a mid-round quarterback at some point, or maybe even spending another high draft pick on a quarterback. But I have the Saints winning because I think they are a better overall team. Larry?
Oh, it's also the Saints for me. And I know you can't see this, Teddy, because you're busy, but I'm bowing to you in deep apologies because I thought you were totally going to blow the Saints season. But you are a god among men right now. The Big Easy Mafia is still in force. The Bears. I mean, I'm not going against our division or anything. I mean, I want to, but I mean, the facts are the facts here. Mitchell Trubisky is still hurt. I don't think he's playing this week either. I just, out of all of our division rivals, I think the Bears are the weak link in our division, and with Mitchell Trubisky out again, I don't think we're going to see him in a Bears uniform next year. You hit the nail on the head. I don't know what the deal is. I just overall, no. So I'm taking the Saints as well over the Bears. Next.
All right. Well, now that that's agreed upon, we have. Oh man! Now we have the Eagles versus the Cowboys, both at 3-3. It's not that it's a hard pick to make. It's just I'm trying to be nice to the Cowboys because I knew they weren't good, but everyone else in the entire world wanted to make them seem like they were going to go to the Super Bowl after a 3-0 start. But look, they're at 3-3 now, so that means they dropped 3 consecutive games. Oh, and they lost to Sam Darnold and the 0-4 Jets. So, kudos to you, Cowboys, for losing to an 0-4 team. So, the little fun fact, if it is a fun fact because it's the Cowboys, 19 home wins since 2016, tied 3rd most in NFL. I mean, it's easy to win in a stadium that was just bought, that was made to distract the other team. So,
exactly.
Especially when your owner has the money to be able to do that. Anyway, I'm picking the Eagles because I'm going to be very biased, and I'm going to say I don't like the Cowboys, and I think the Eagles are definitely a better team. Larry?
Well, I'm in the same boat with you, completely 100%. Everything you said, Eagles all the way.
All right, now that we got the Cowboy trash out of the way, we have more trash with the 6-0 Patriots, what, and the Jets at 1-4, and I don't like the Patriots as well, but their defense has been playing amazing. Their defense has carried them through games, like a lot. Without their defense, they could easily be 0-6. But excuse me, they are 6-0. The Jets are 1-4. I already had my game to watch. My upset game is going to be the Jets versus the Patriots, because after having that little bout with Mono, I think Sam Darnold takes this team and rips Tom Brady a new one and rips that defense a new one and just bends them all over and says, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" And they're 2-4, and the Patriots are 6-1. Larry.
Yep. It's funny. I thought I was going to blow your mind, but I picked it too. This is my upset game. I too am going the Jets over the Patriots. Sam Darnold is back, and Sam Darnold made one hell of a statement against the Cowboys. I think they're going to turn it around. I think it's going to be too late. I don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs. Yeah, it's too late. But Sam Darnold came back, ripped ass. You knocked out the Cowboys. They're going to do it again against the Patriots, giving the Patriots the first loss of the season. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how the Jets are going to do now that Sam Darnold is back. He's healthy. He's playing. I'm so impressed with the way he played against the Cowboys last week. Yep, I'm going Jets also over the Patriots in my upset.
All right, and now for our favorite team, the Vikings versus the Lions. And little fun fact that is not on the app, the NFC North is the toughest division in football as of right now.
Absolutely.
And the Vikings, who are at 4-2, have only 2 losses, which have come to divisional opponents this season. Okay, and the Lions, unfortunately, are 2-1. It could definitely be 4-1, but we're not going to talk about that because those games don't matter anymore. The games that matter are what they win or lose now. And I'm going to pick the Lions because I can't trust Kirk Cousins. This year is definitely Stafford's year. Yes, they could be scoring a lot more touchdowns than they are, but a lot more goes into it than just, we'll just throw it to him. There have been quite a few missed calls for the Lions. I don't want to give the Lions any kind of sympathy or anything, because I am a fan and I try to keep it unbiased. But it's hard to not look at the Lions and see how much their backs are against the wall when it comes to facing good or better teams. And, I'm just going to take a quick little, tangent real quick and say that I think the refs are doing a terrible job this year. It's not even the Lions. Clay Matthews got hit for, I think it was roughing the passer when it was clearly just a regular old sack. A bunch of no-call plays. And it's hard to not watch the NFL nowadays and think that it's not scripted. Okay, I try so hard to think, no, it's just, it's the pressure. The refs are having to stand in front of everybody and say this, but with a lot of the calls, it's hard. It's hard to think that they're generally just doing their best. It just seems like their bank accounts get a little bigger, and then all of a sudden they have more confidence to not call a play. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Lions because I think the Lions offense is much better than the Vikings offense. Now, the Vikings do have Dalvin Cook, who has been tearing it up on the field. But I give it to the Lions because, one, the defense is definitely coming around, and it's definitely aggressive, and it's forcing turnovers, which Kirk Cousins is horrible when pressure is coming at him. Like, Kirk Cousins is probably one of the only quarterbacks that needs the offensive line to hold on to their blocks for about 4 minutes before he decides to throw the ball. So I give the edge to the Lions.
Interesting. Yep, I'm going to take the Lions myself as well. The key to this game, I mean, you mentioned Dalvin Cook. I understand. They got to shut down Cook now, but they're also going to have to double-team Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, the past few weeks, ever since he's been bitching about his contract and not getting enough touches, now that he's getting those touches, he's burning people, and he's burning people hard. Last week, was it like 3 or 4 receiving touchdowns? He was on fire. They're going to have to isolate him and take him out of the game as well as Dalvin Cook. So the defense, the Lions defense looks a hell of a lot better. I'm loving the Lions defense, but they're going to have to step it up even more against the Minnesota Vikings because they are definitely an offensive threat. With the exception, I mean, Kirk Cousins is, when he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he's cold. So if the Lions defense is going to have to show up right away and play straight all the way through, isolate, stop the run, stop the just totally dominate. They're going to need a total domination for this defense. And like I said, the refs, I don't know what the hell is going on here. I mean, even not only are even Green Bay players we're calling out the referees. Even the Packers players were saying, "Hey, that was what the hell?" And not only that, even Kelly Stafford, Matthew Stafford's wife, got involved in this. And what did we get? I saw this the other day. And what did we get out of all this? This is just like the whole NFC Championship game last year, Saints-Rams. The NFL just apologizes. We were wrong. You know what? Screw you. People need to start getting fired. You're getting paid to do a job. If you don't do your job correctly, what happens? You get fired. Something needs to happen with these damn referees. Because it's not just, I mean, I can understand if it didn't mean anything, but these are game-making decision penalties. This is another game we won. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. And it's not just the Lions, it's the complete NFL. You screwed over the Saints last year. You're screwing the Lions every game this year. We should be 4-1 right now, sitting on top of the NFC North. But no, we're at the bottom. Because of stupid penalties that should have been called. And calls that aren't getting called that should be called. You NFL referees need to get your head out of your asses and do your damn job the way you're supposed to. That's it. I'm done. So I got the...
Well, I agree with that. I also agree that the referees, after the game, should have to go up to the podiums as well, just like all the players and the coaches and the owners and the presidents and Roger Goodell. Even Roger Goodell has to do it. I think all the refs have to go up at the press conferences after the games, not just their own report, but in front of all the reporters after the game. Okay? they should have to answer the questions. I also saw a comment on Facebook that said they should be fined as well, and I think so too.
No, they should be
You know?
fined. They should be fired. They should be fired. If you can't do your job the right way, you're done. Let's take us normal people, for example. Let's say we go into work and we don't feel like doing our job. We're making all these errors. What happens? Sure, you'll get reprimanded. Or if it keeps happening every week, every day, you get fired. Screw that shit. That's just like getting a slap on the hand. Oh, don't do that again. Okay, boss. It doesn't do nothing. These referees need to be held accountable for what they're doing, and it's not happening. These referees need to get fired. Bottom line, this is a professional sport.
Yep.
This is changing the outcome of games. I mean, I wouldn't give a shit if it was like in the first quarter with 10 minutes in the first quarter, whatever. That's fine, whatever. But when you're talking about 2 minutes or below in the fourth quarter and it's game decision. A game-ending decision on whether you're going to lose or win a game, that's not right. Every play that's questionable or every call that's questionable should be able to be reviewed under 2 minutes when it comes to a game-winning or game-losing decision, no matter what it is. They already need to go and look at the rule book again and change shit. The way I'm seeing it is now keep in mind here. I think this would be a very good idea that not only should coaches be able to challenge the pass interference issue that they worked on this year, which is doing pretty well so far, but they need to extend it because these referees in today's NFL have no damn clue what they're doing. What I would propose is that every team should have 4 challenges, okay? But be able to challenge any controversial call on the field. I mean, you would think that with this whole last year incident with the Rams game, the Saints-Rams game, you would think the referees would start opening their eyes a little bit. You would think that, okay, we gotta start doing this the right way, and it's just not happening. Now they're picking other penalties to pick on because they can't challenge it. Any penalty from 2 minutes and below in the fourth quarter should automatically be able to be challenged or not, whether it's pass interference, holding, whatever. I mean, but that's just my opinion. I think something needs to happen. That's all I'm gonna. We're gonna have to keep dragging this on if we're just gonna keep talking about this. I know Danny's furious. I'm furious. Something's got to be done with you punk ass bitches. As I said, it's a good thing that I'm not an NFL head coach because I'd be getting fined about $500,000 for talking shit about the NFL referees throughout my press conferences every week. So, but yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
All right, and all I'm going to say is that, like I said, for one, I understand the Lions should have scored more touchdowns. But besides that, okay, if there's a play where, both players could have caused pass interference and they just happen to pick one of the two, you know what? That's fine. That it's a stressful situation. You just got to pick one. So you go, you know what? Let's just see what happens if we pick, this person. Like, it could go 50-50 and that's fine, or if there's a fumble and, you're trying to figure out if, the elbow touched the ground first or if the ball was punched out first. If it was clear that it was a fumble, but yet on further review, the elbow just barely touches before the ball comes out, but you still call it a fumble, that's fine. Because it's so close that, it's fine because either one could have happened. Like, yes, it's going to be disappointing, but it's like, you know what? At least we still can choose how we want to play the game. The problem I have is that, just like Larry said, a lot of the games are being decided by the penalty. So, for instance, the Lions was a huge one because Trey Flowers was not ever penalized to hands to the face, ever. And that's like unheard of for a player to not be penalized. But he got penalized for hands to the face for putting his hand into the chest of offensive lineman David Bakhtiari. And, on further review, it clearly shows that his hands are in his chest and on his shoulder. There is no hands to the face. If anything, someone else pointed it out too on the play that a Green Bay offensive lineman on the right side of the field was putting his hands in the face of, a Detroit defender, which, the problem is the first one that happened, you know what? Yeah, the Packers scored on the next play. Lions could have stopped it, blah, blah, blah. His knee was down before he hit the, touchdown line. That's very controversial. It's been not in our favor before, so why would it be in our favor again this time? You know what? It's fine. We still have the lead. Lions punt the ball. You know what? The Packers have it. 4th down. They're about probably 40 or more yard field goal away from potentially being up 1 point. Lions get the sack. It's going to be 4th down, and then the Packers would have to kick, and then the Lions would get the ball back with about a minute 10, minute 20 seconds. And then the same exact hands to the face penalty was called in the exact same way. And just like Larry was saying, all we got from the NFL was an apology. But it's and I saw what they said, and they said one was clear that it wasn't hands to the face, but the other one could have went both ways. When in actuality, you watch the review, they both are the same thing. He has his hands in his chest in the exact same way on both plays. And the problem isn't that they called the penalty that. The problem is that gave them a 1st down. They kneeled it, and they kicked the field goal with 2 seconds. The Lions had no choice but to allow the Packers to kneel it. That's the problem I have. The Lions got robbed of the chance to keep their lead. Okay? Because on 4th down and like a 40-some yard field goal, that's hard to make under pressure. And Mason Crosby has been known to crack under pressure. But the referees literally handed Green Bay, like, here, we're going to let you win real quick, okay? You go ahead and kneel the ball, whatever you got to do to run the clock out, and whatever. And that's the problem I have, is not that, the Lions should have made more plays, but besides that, the problem is that the Lions did not get the chance after that. Because, what if Mason Crosby made that field goal? Okay, you know what? The Lions had a minute 10. Then they would have had the choice to win or lose. And if they lost, you know what? We can just say, you know what? Lions just couldn't pull it out in the end. No, this was not their choice. They had no chance. Just like I think it was 2 years ago when they faced the Falcons. They had Golden Tate.
Oh
Yeah, Golden Tate has the ball, reaches for a touchdown. Oh, it's called a touchdown. Oh, it's like 8 seconds left in the game. So they review the play. They say his knee was just barely down first. Barely down first, okay? By like a fraction of a second, they're saying. And so they reverse the call. But, oh, wait a minute. There's a 10-second runoff rule. So instead of, because the Lions have been known to be able to make plays happen within 1 or 2 seconds. Like they proved it against the Minnesota Vikings that same year as well. They literally took the ball from their own goal line about 80 yards in a matter of 10 seconds. And that's with like 4 or 5 plays as well. That's not, and they had only 26 seconds to do it. Okay, and they ended up winning that game. But yet the Lions in this...
And that also created the downward spiral for the rest of the season.
Yeah, because it's... Yes, you can say, oh, well, you just got to overcome it. But honestly, though, can you really overcome that?
No, you can't.
You can't expect someone to just overcome that. Like, as fans, I didn't expect that because that's hard. Because now all of a sudden you got this whole, even if we win, we lose. Like they won that game. They clearly had it. They changed the score. They even waited like, a whole 40, 50 seconds before they're like, wait a minute. Like, and I don't want to keep going on about it because it's been a little bit too long anyway, but the refs need to figure it out, or the NFL needs to find new refs or something because, or, you know what? Just tell the refs, hey, if you make one more bad call, you're not getting paid the rest of the season. And any money we gave you, you got to give back. And you got to work for free.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that would make me, call better plays. Because it's the 50-50 plays I don't care about. Or, you know what, he may have done that. Or they may have gotten away with that. But, like we said, when it decides games and it basically, when it gives the other team no chance of winning, just like it did for the Lions, I give kudos to the Green Bay Packers for being able to adjust their defense to the Lions' offense, because the Lions' offense definitely stagnated. So I give props to the defense and the defensive coordinator for being able to being able to do a better game plan in the second half, but they didn't do enough to win. So I'm going to just leave it at that. Of course, Larry and I both are picking the Lions because they really have not given us a reason to vote against them this year.
No, not at all.
It's
all boiling down that the refs are screwing our schedule or screwing up our standings. That's what it's boiling down to. It's the referees that are screwing around. Like I said, we should be 4-1 right now, sitting on top of the NFC North. But no, we got to be 2-1 because these referees don't want to do their job, and that's something's got to give. Start boycotting. Let us riot. We're gonna rise up. Let the friggin' referees go on strike and bring in other referees. They'll probably be doing a better job. But its bottom line is the way it's always been. Is it's always been rigged. It's always been fixed. That's the way it is. It's not for the love of the game anymore. It's for whose fucking pockets are deeper, and that's the sad part about it. You know what happened to the love of the game, which is what it boils down to. So we could keep going on and on for hours about it, but I don't want to because I'm tired of having to bitch and complain about things and end up getting called a whiner because our team ain't playing that well. Our team is playing fantastically. Some of the best football from the Lions that I've seen in at least the past 15 years, and we're still getting screwed over by these referees. It's just getting old. It's getting old having to repeat the same thing over and over and over again every week about shit that happens during the Lions game. It's getting old. I mean, we are not only on paper, but in real time, this Lions team is one of the best Lions teams that I've seen in a very long time. These Lions are contenders all the way, and it's just bullshit that keeps pushing us down. And there's nothing we can do about it. Something has to change here because this is ridiculous. This is another reason why players don't stay with the Lions because of shit like this happening every week. Year after year, it's the same thing. We're finally getting somewhere, and they're there to push us back down. Because it's all about the money, and that's the sad thing about it. It's all about the money instead of for the love of the game. But that's all I'm going to say about it for now. It's just ridiculous.
Yep. And all I'm going to say is that they called hands to the face to a player that's never had hands to the face. So
even the commentators during that game said the same exact thing, and they were even shocked. That only did happen once. It happened twice. Even the commentators were like, what the heck is going on here? There's no foul here. There's no foul here. Yeah, but, what do we know?
exactly, we're just some amateurs on a podcast. And with that note, this is Danny Waiter.
Oh, we're going to end it that abruptly? I'm Larry Sosinski.
And we're going to make sure that the refs take it to the dumpster. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.